everyone, and thank you for joining us here on the Recruitment Roundup podcast, which is brought to you by BMS Performance. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, BMS Performance is a specialist sales and marketing recruitment consultancy. For the last 30 years, we've been helping businesses across the UK recruit for vacancies at every level. I'm your host, Mike Leather, and every week I'll be joined by a new guest where we'll get stuck into the latest trends in regards to recruitment. We'll talk about insights, we share ideas, we share experiences, and ultimately we look to provide value to fundamentally help you, whether or not you're a hiring manager, a business leader, or part of an internal talent team, to recruit smarter, faster, and more effectively. So welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Recruitment Roundup podcast, brought to you by BMS Performance. I'm your host, Mike Leather.
I'm the co-host, Sam. What's the idea?
How you doing, Sam?
All good, Mike. All good. Yeah, how are you? Enjoying the sunshine?
A little bit sunburnt, to be honest, today. So those watching on YouTube will see that. Maybe the lighting in here, but yeah, a little bit sunburnt from the lovely weather that we had at the weekend. Right. How about you?
Yeah, it was absolute belter, to be fair. Not as sunburnt as you, but no, like it's nice to get a bit of sun. Obviously, it adds to those positive vibes, shall we say,
positive
within the office,
vibes,
positive vibes. That real. Yeah, I think it just gives you that extra boost to want to get stuck in. So it's
you need it, don't you? We needed a bit of sun after this 10-year winter that we've been stuck in. Long may it continue as well. But yeah. All good. Recording this on a Monday morning, so great to start the week with. And the episode that we wanted to put out there today, which me and you were talking about last week, is how face-to-face meetings can give sales professionals a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
This year, me and you are both agreed on the benefits of them. So we wanted to talk about that. We wanted to talk about what you can get from a face-to-face meeting that you can't necessarily over Teams. Why don't we meet as much as well? Because I think there's definite conversation to be had around that. Yeah. And then hopefully some tips from you at the end on how people can go about getting more face-to-face meetings, because that's something that you've done really well over the last few months. So hopefully people learn something from this. If nothing else, it should be a good refresher. Well, let's kick it off with why don't we meet as much anymore? Because we just don't, do we? I remember when I was fully on the tools, I must have been meeting with clients and prospects 2-3 times a week, and now it's just done more so over Teams. But let's start out here. What's your take on that as to why we don't meet as much anymore face to face?
Yeah, Mike, it's a really, really good point. And I think, look, obviously technology's done a great amount of good, and obviously COVID has highlighted that, when everybody's had to, adapt to new ways of working, things like, working from home a lot, adaptation of things such as, things like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, you name it. And all these platforms have given us an access to be able to make everyone feel like they're closer, although they're not, so streamlines of communication have naturally created a lot of shortcuts, which have had their benefits, they have. But on the other end, it's also, we look at what that impact has had. It's obviously encouraged, and I call it, to be honest, I just call it, perhaps laziness, right?
I was going to say laziness. Yeah, I'm glad that you've gone there, because I was going to go there, because I think it's definitely a bit of that. I just think sometimes people can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to.
And I think it's just like, it's not a nice word to share, but I think when it boils down to it, that's what it's down to, really. People are probably looking at things now thinking, okay, we could hop on and have a Teams call, set up a meeting, speak to you just like that, thinking of other things involving, I don't know, getting in the car, traveling, all these things. And I think people just looking at it like, I can't be bothered to do this, right? And I think, to be honest with you, that's a real excuse at this time. I think people are more often now than not are just looking at things and thinking, is this worth my time? What's easier for me? And people are just taking the easy way out, right? So
I think the hybrid working, flexible working's had something to do with it, mate. I think, think about it, before there was a work from home culture, which has its upsides, its benefits. We operate a flexible working policy at BMS, and when I'm working from home, I enjoy it. I enjoy that balance. But like, I definitely think as people have got more used to working from home, and then how accessible Teams is, it has definitely contributed for people not putting in as much effort to actually go out and meet face to face. So I think fundamentally it's just bad habits that people have got into, and I say bad in a balanced way, because sometimes it is good to have an introductory meeting over Teams. But if you're at a point in the sales process where you're closing a meeting, closing a deal, or you're doing a account review, or in recruitment, you're starting to work with a new client, or going out to meet an existing client, surely those sorts of meetings are better placed face to face, aren't they?
Yeah, I 100% agree, Mike. And I think what we are saying here, we're saying the same thing in the sense that, of course, there's a time and a place for, Teams meetings and video meetings, of course. But, when they are core things, we speak about reviews with, accounts, or, proposals, or whatever that may look like on certain projects where things are, you know, you've got to go the extra mile. And yeah, people have been taking, the shortcuts within that and trying to, you know, cut back on time when, and that's ultimately the reason. But I agree with what you're saying.
I think as well. I mean, we're talking about how it can be a competitive advantage,
Yeah,
but this is precisely the reason why, because
yeah,
people aren't driven as to do it as much
yeah,
anymore. So if you are that person, and maybe you are one of 3 suppliers, or you are one of 4 companies tendering for the business, then you making that effort to really push for a
yeah,
meeting and go out and to see them,
yeah,
you're 100% going to build a better relationship. You're going to be seen as that potential partner who is wanting to really make the effort to win the business, or to grow the relationship. That's going to put you in a better place than other companies who are just intent on completing the sales process
yeah,
over Teams, I would say.
yeah,
So what do you think, when you've been on a fair few face-to-face meetings recently, like, what are
yeah,
some of the things you think you've got from those meetings that you wouldn't have
yeah,
in any way, shape or form been able to get
yeah.
if you'd have just done the same thing on Teams?
Yeah, Mike, it's a great question. I really love this because I am a massive advocate for, getting out and meeting people and building and forging these relationships because, there's no other way to do it, right? When you look into the whites of someone's eyes, you rarely get to just build that trust. You get to really, really
Trust and
build that trust,
authenticity. Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
authenticity,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you really get to build that rapport at a level that you just can't simulate over Teams. And I don't care what anyone says. To be honest, with you, I could argue with you all day on this.
Mm,
The beauty of it is you get to assess things like body language, right? When you are
mm,
communicating, you people buy from people. I've got
yeah.
clients that say to me all the time, people buy from people, and the beauty of what my face-to-face interactions have allowed me, they've given me the opportunity to build that trust at a really high level, to get people to get to know me, but for me to get to know them, and really be able to um, you know forge those relationships, and be able to ask certain questions, that you just can't, things just get lost over Teams. So for me, the very first point that I want to speak about is just being able to build that trust, has really been something that's helped me sort of stand out, when I've built up, when I've spoken um, to all these people, as opposed to doing it over Teams.
Yeah, it's a great point on the body language piece.
Yeah,
So, depending on what articles you
yeah,
read, 70 to 93% of how we communicate is non-verbal.
yeah.
So,
I
like,
didn't
if
know that. Yeah,
you're in front of someone, yeah, and go and Google.
yeah,
If anyone listening and think, yeah,
mhm.
he's talking rubbish there. It's not that high. It is. It's 70 to 93%.
Yeah,
So, if you're sat in front of someone, you're gonna pick up so much more.
yeah,
Like, and we're humans at the end of the day.
yeah,
We're meant to be social
yeah,
creatures. Like,
yeah, yeah,
we're meant to be around each other.
yeah,
So, 100%, I agree with you, and no one can
yeah,
convince me otherwise, that
yeah,
the authenticity and the
yeah,
relationships that you build from sitting across the desk with someone,
yeah,
they can't be replicated through Teams. It just can't be. I also think as well, like, you just don't get the depth of insight
Yeah.
into a business if you meet them over Teams.
Yeah.
So, if you think about, like, you can experience the environment, what is it actually like? What are the office premises like? What does
Yeah.
that tell you about the
Yeah.
company?
Yeah.
Um, the culture of the business, you can get a
Yeah.
sense of that
Yeah.
from a face-to-face meeting that you don't via Teams.
Yeah.
You can learn about the business, how it's
Yeah.
set up, the
Yeah.
organizational charts. You can see the
Yeah.
products. You get
Yeah.
so much more from actually going
Yeah.
out to see a business than you do
Yeah.
over Teams.
Yeah, I really, really agree with that, Mike. And also, like another thing is you get an opportunity, and this is probably one of the biggest ones why find this to be so unique, because you get the ability to address concerns. And like to when I say concerns, I
Yeah.
mean real concerns that like maybe, someone doesn't feel confident enough to be able to put that on an email, certain things that, you know, it's just face to face direct. We've liked this, we've not liked that, this is what I wanted to be better. What are your thoughts on that, and how could we get there together? You know,
Mm,
and can someone formulate a really constructed email that could be able to do that? Yes, but you lose tones even if you're speaking to someone over Teams equally. Like, it's not the same. It's not the
mm,
same. And the beauty of the face-to-face interactions have they give you the opportunity to address those concerns. And I really like the culture piece that you've spoken about, Mike,
mm,
in terms of getting a real feel for the business. From my end within the industry that I operate in within medtech and healthcare, as an opportunity to do the thing that I probably love the most is to see the products, right? Some of these
yeah, 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 yeah,
some some of these products are, stored, and you've got an opportunity to look to, get a real feel of, oh wow, this is said piece of equipment. Oh, this is what it really looks like.
yeah.
This is how I can actually visualize it. And if someone could share their screen or like speak to you in a in a room or demonstration room over Teams and like show it's not the same, right? So again, that's another real unique advantage that these face-to-face interactions could give us as opposed to meeting someone traditionally over Teams.
I think as well, you can also create more sales opportunities off the
Yeah,
back of it. So, like, if you
yeah,
if you were selling some form of solution or
yeah,
service, then by going out to see someone's premises,
yeah,
manufacturing site, whatever it is,
yeah,
you might see other problems there
yeah,
just through walking around and
yeah,
observing
yeah,
that your solution can fix. You
yeah,
might be able to meet with more influencers, decision
yeah,
makers
yeah,
whilst you're there,
yeah,
whilst you're on
yeah,
site that you
yeah,
wouldn't have ordinarily
yeah,
had
yeah,
access to. So I think
yeah,
most sales professionals
yeah,
with a couple of years experience
yeah,
understand they would get the majority of this, and hopefully
yeah,
this is a
yeah,
refresher more than
yeah, yeah.
teaching people something new.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike, before you come on to
Anything you
your next point,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
obviously I really like that piece because you've just drawn me back to an example of what I could think back to one of my recent face-to-face, interactions. And I've gone out to the site and met, a really great client that I've got a good relationship with. But the beauty of that was, I ran into, an operations manager on the day, and ultimately it was just a, regular meeting. You walk past. This is, I got introduced to the person. They do the operations within our organization. Out of interest, how do you guys recruit for roles within our team? Again, that
Mm,
just became an opportunity organically, just because we've gone out to that site, we've
yeah.
met them, and we've then created an opportunity for us. So you speak about getting more opportunities to meet more stakeholders, more people that you can support within recruitment. That would be that, but equally within any industry that someone else is operating in, you never know who you can meet. And another point that I wanted to speak about, Mike. Sorry, I know I've gone off on a tangent
That's
slightly,
all right. Yeah, that's all good.
is you've spoken about the beauty of ultimately influencing the sales process. But if I think about what that could then look like, because we are getting to meet these people, we're getting the ability to build trust and build rapport and gain an insight to understand what their culture is, the end result is we're actually minimizing the sales process anyway. Right. So if we think about
Mm,
the beauty of that to me as a recruiter or to you as a salesperson selling any product or service, because you've gone out your way to look to do that, you're actually going to reduce your time to fix a problem, reduce your time to hire just by going out there. So the end result, ultimately, it helps, the clients in mind in terms of they're getting a better result in a quicker amount of time. So if we think about the beauty of it all, it ultimately impacts the time of either a recruitment process or sales
mm.
process in general.
Yeah. because there's less of the unknown. Because
Yeah.
guess what? If you meet
Yeah.
face to face, you know each other better.
You know each other.
But you've
Yeah.
spent more time with each other.
Yeah.
You've understood more about their
Yeah.
business. You
Yeah.
understand them more on a human level. You
Yeah.
connect with them better.
Yeah.
You've shown them that I can be bothered coming
Yeah.
to see you. So I'm serious about this. I
Yeah.
wanna. I want to put my best foot forward. I want to win
Yeah.
your business. I want to
Yeah.
expand this relationship. I want to
Yeah.
grow it.
Yeah.
Now, because we've met each other,
Yeah.
we're all better placed. We're more
Yeah.
invested.
Yeah. I want to be an extension of your team. And when that email
Yeah,
comes in from Mike Leather from BMS Performance, who
yeah,
took time out to come out to meet me, they've got a bit
yeah,
of a smile on their face because, that's Mike.
yeah.
You're
There
not
he
just
is.
like
Yeah,
that Mike, that recruiter's just, that's Mike, and that's what
yeah.
we want to
And
be
that's it, though,
within
isn't
any
it? And that's
industry.
that differentiator piece that we're
Yeah.
talking about. Actually, you've nailed it there.
Yeah.
That is the competitive advantage piece.
Exactly.
You're not just the guy that met on Teams
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
20 minutes. No,
Yeah.
you're Sam that's been out and been
Yeah.
on a tour of our site,
Yeah.
spent 2 hours in the business, met
Yeah.
multiple stakeholders,
Yeah.
gave a good impression of himself,
Yeah.
and yeah, that just carries more weight.
Great.
Which is kind of what we're talking about. That's the competitive advantage piece. And
Yeah.
I was going to move on to talk about impacts, but it's there,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
securing more business, it's expanding business,
Yeah.
it's giving yourself. You definitely 100%
Yeah.
have a propensity, therefore, then to get more repeat business.
Yeah.
And overall, you're just more sticky
Yeah.
with your clients, with your prospects, because you know them better.
Yeah.
It's less of a transactional relationship, more of partnership, trusted advisor level. It can help you get to that point. All of that good stuff, everything that we want as sales professionals, is on the other side of better relationships
Yeah.
with
Absolutely
clients
love that.
at the end of the day. And this is what, really pushing hard for face-to-face meetings is going to help you to achieve. Okay, so to finish off with then, so people might be listening to saying, great, sold on it.
Yeah.
Definitely need to get my house in order and get out and see people face-to-face more. But I'm just struggling to get, when I've asked for face-to-face meetings, people have said, oh no, let's just do Teams is fine.
Yeah.
And it's about like, how do I then persuade people to want to meet with me? And as someone that's done quite well getting face-to-face meetings, I'd love your take on this. So how have you done that? What's been working for you in terms of being able to get clients to to be persuaded to meet with you, other than them, just really liking you and thinking you're a good guy?
Yeah.
Got to be something more to it than that.
No, it's a great point, Mike, and I really like that. And you're right. We speak about teams is fine. I think the key thing that I've been able to do, and what any salesperson should be aiming to do, is ultimately looking to demonstrate value. And when I say value, it's not just value what's in it for you, but also being able to clearly express to the person that you're looking to prospect what's in it for them. What's in it for you, Mr. Client, if we come out to see you. So by that I mean clearly being able to tell them this, right? Because when I think about how people, the pitfalls that they tend to fall under when they push for these meetings, is just, well, can I come out and see you? And someone says why, and they're like, oh, well, and you, that the key thing is
Feels
ultimately,
arbitrary rather than
it feels,
it's for
like,
anything.
and it's not genuine. It doesn't come across as genuine. It doesn't come across as authentic, but also it's not a bespoke approach. What does a real, question look like? Right, Mr. Customer, I've been working with you for, the past year, as an example. This is what I've found has been working really well within our relationship. But I feel like, these are elements that I'd like to be able to, to improve on the back of the work that I've been doing, on managing your accounts. What I'd like to do is come up to meet you so that we could be able to, get a feel for how you guys operate with on your site. The beauty of that is when we're looking to recruit for you going forward, is I have a real feel for the types of cultures or the types of people that are within the business. So again, it's about being able to express what the feature is, and then what's the end benefit to clients, and making a tailor-made approach each time, and not just using it as a a canvas email to all your accounts, or like to really going above and beyond to demonstrate that you
specific to them.
getting specific and looking to demonstrate value to the person, because ultimately time is precious. If you're going to be going out there, you need to be going out there with a specific reason in mind, but being able to credibly propose what you're looking to, why you're looking to do it, and explaining what's in it for you. What's in it for you from a recruitment perspective is, getting a better level of service, getting a better understanding, us being able to potentially provide different levels of talent pools that you might not have considered because we've seen something that we couldn't see behind, teams. So, those are the things that I'm really passionate about, being able to clearly demonstrate value. So that's my point number one. Mike,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's all good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with all of that. You essentially you're talking there from an
yeah,
account development perspective. So we've already
yeah,
got some form of client relationship, but what we want
yeah,
to do is we want to elevate that to a
yeah,
different level
yeah,
and drive more success
yeah,
from the relationship in the future. If we think of it from like a non-recruitment perspective,
mhm,
just a general sales perspective,
yeah,
from a new business standpoint, let's say
yeah,
I'm a um I'm a salesperson. I'm calling
yeah,
you, you're the decision maker, and you're saying to me, I'm
yeah,
asking, right, great, we'd love to come out and meet you face to face.
yeah,
Well, that's all I'm saying, and you might respond, well, that's fine, but maybe we do
yeah.
Teams for a first port of call. What advice would you give to someone to kind of handle that type of objection? I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but to
Yeah.
to push the agenda for a face to face meeting there.
Yeah, I think ultimately what you want to do within a salesperson, you've got the objection of, look, we want to do Teams as a first call. Look, completely
Mm,
appreciate that like Teams is a way that you like to work as customer, but the way that we work, and the way, and you want to put it on you,
mm,
emphasize the way that we work. The beauty of what I'm proposing to you is that, look, I appreciate that, you want to work with us on Teams. It would be really great for us to meet on Teams, but what I found that's worked really well with a lot of key clients that we've been able to build relationships with over the years is by having these interactions face to face within the face and within that instance. The beauty
yeah,
of us meeting you face to face is we're going to be able to not just understand questions regarding how to do the role and how to fill the role, but also to get a piece of, what's it like to work for your organization,
mm,
what are the different products that you guys manufacture, how do they impact people, and although you can give this information to me over
mm,
Teams, the beauty of us being able to come out and meet you on the site is that. So
yeah,
that's hearing what you're saying. I completely appreciate it. Yes, you're right. We could do it on Teams. However, what I felt that's worked really well for us and me, and I imagine what you want as the customers to get the really best level of service, the real top. And if
yeah.
we are offering you this opportunity, why wouldn't you want to do that? And
Yeah,
uh, yeah,
I think that's the thing there, right? I think because a lot of people, when they hear that initial
yeah,
objection,
yeah, they just
they
accept
won't
it.
they
Yeah,
won't challenge it. Yeah,
they
they
will
won't
challenge it.
try and work with it and
Yeah,
move past it and then
yeah,
influence the
yeah,
influencer or decision maker
yeah,
to actually see the value of
yeah,
meeting with them. So I
exactly.
agree with that, taking that approach. Look, I appreciate wanting to
Yeah,
meet over Teams, but
yeah,
the way that I do business, I
yeah,
typically like to operate
yeah,
with new prospects is to come out
yeah,
and meet with you. I want to show
yeah,
you that this is an opportunity that I take really seriously, and I want
yeah,
to show you that I'll put the
yeah,
effort in to come out and meet you
yeah,
face to
exactly.
face, and that way I get a really good understanding of your business,
Yeah,
understand what the problems are, and
yeah,
we'll be able to then demonstrate firsthand the solutions that we've got that
yeah,
we feel can solve those problems. And then look, if we come away from that meeting, we decide we're not a great fit, then we both put ourselves in a position
yeah,
whereby we've done the utmost to see if we can work together.
exactly.
It doesn't have to be any longer than an
Yeah,
actual Teams
yeah,
meeting,
yeah,
but it's much better in my experience to
exactly.
do this face to face. So when
Yeah,
would be the best time for us to put that
exactly.
in and just go with that approach? And if you get
Yeah,
pushback, then
yeah, yeah,
you've tried. But I think for sales
yeah,
professionals listening to this,
yeah, yeah.
ask for the meeting,
A
ask for the meeting,
ask for the
ask for the
meeting.
meeting, ask for the
Yeah,
meeting. Yeah, as
yeah,
the first step in this direction,
yeah,
you will 100% build better client
yeah,
relationships. And I think as a sales community, if we're all going out meeting with clients, we'll all be better for it.
yeah,
Hopefully, we're all more successful for it. But it's definitely a trend that we've seen now, isn't it?
yeah,
Companies are more open to being met with face to face. It's something that we pushed a lot in our business, and we continue to do so. And we've seen more and more appetite for it.
yeah. No, absolutely agree, Mike. And it's brought me back to point number two because you spoke about asking for the meeting. And I think what
Yeah.
a lot of people, and I think I was probably guilty of doing this within my sort of first year with BMS, is in terms of the approach that I was using to ask. I imagine, you got to use a different engagement opportunities that you have within your arsenal as a salesperson when you're asking for face-to-face meetings, right? So, look, I'm pro all. Like I'm pro over
Mm.
the phone, old school traditional approach in terms of
Yeah.
reaching out to someone and being able to express these things that we're speaking about. Because if you
Yeah.
are overcoming these objections and you're looking to do it, over email or, the approach that you are using is also just as key. So utilizing all the different tools within your arsenal when you're prospecting, you're looking to push for this meeting is going to be really important as opposed to just relying on one method, which predominantly with most people that that are a bit lazy to pick up the phone is via email. And you're not going to make it very far if you just keep, as a sales manager asking if you asked for a meeting and they've said, yeah, I've sent them an email, they've not come back. That approach that you're
Yeah.
using is going to be certainly important that I wanted to highlight to our listeners as well, because you've got to use
Yeah.
the different tools within the arsenal to be able to differentiate yourself as a salesperson too when you are asking for
100%.
for that meeting.
100%, 100%. And
Yeah,
as we said at the beginning of this, by doing this and having more face-to-face meetings, you
yeah,
you are going to give yourself a competitive advantage,
yeah,
because there's a huge amount of
yeah,
people out there, and also
yeah,
businesses that aren't pushing face-to-face
yeah,
meetings
yeah,
as much as well. It's not just the sales
yeah,
professionals.
yeah.
There's plenty of companies that are pushing, getting back out there, meeting people face to face.
One more tip, just while I'm thinking about it out loud.
Okay.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Mike, you spoke about any salesperson who is, good at their job. We've got to be mindful to be, persistent, but respectful at the same time. So by persistence, I mean just remembering to do those follow-ups, right? If you've been unsuccessful within your prospect for a meeting, any person within sales, you've got to follow up. You've got to, right,
Follow
Mr.
up,
Customer, I
follow up,
know we
follow up,
couldn't do it
follow up.
last week. Follow up, follow up, follow up. And yeah, the beauties in the follow-up. So reminder to follow up.
That's a great tip to
Yeah,
finish off the episode
sure.
with. So thank you everyone for listening. I hope there was a lot of value in that. And we will be back next week with another episode. So bye for now.
Bye for now. Cheers, guys.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Recruitment Roundup podcast. Thank you very much for listening to the show, to watching the show. We really appreciate your support. It would be absolutely fantastic if you could give us a rating on Apple, on Spotify, give us a review. Any feedback really, really helps and is massively appreciated. So thank you once again for joining us, and we will hopefully see you again next week.